Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today's Monday, October 27, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. It's a war over U.S. congressional seats. More states are redrawing maps. We'll talk with co-founder, executive director of the Black Voters Matter, Albright, about what's happening with gerrymandering and its impact on black voters. Louisiana's Republican-led Senate votes to push back election dates, hoping Supreme Court is going to rule in its favor to draw new congressional maps that includes 1 or 0 majority black districts. In tonight's Crocket Chronicles, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett calls out Trump's immigration agenda for what it is: racist, violent, and lawless. And the white Illinois sheriff's deputy who killed Sonya Massey testified in his murder trial today, telling the jury how he feared for his life. We'll talk with Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump, who represents the Massey family, about the testimony of Sean Grayson. Also, we'll tell you how the president of HBCU University of University of Maryland Eastern Shore is fighting back against allegations of plagiarism and racial discrimination. Also, Republicans, they hate DEI. So why are they criticizing the President Barack Obama for supporting Abigail Spanberger against Winsome Sears? And if y'all really want to laugh, major rally with Zoran Mamdani, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Senator Bernie Sanders. Oh, and all these white Republicans, look at the crowd. That doesn't look like New York City. Oh, so now y'all care about diversity, equity, inclusion. Yeah, I got a couple of words to say about that. And speaking of Mamdani, his dad made some comments about the history of America. And all of these white conservatives are losing their mind, except he was right about Hitler and Nazis and Jim Crow and indigenous people and Lincoln. It's amazing what happens when you can't read. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on Go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Republicans initially said they did not have the votes in Indiana to redraw their districts, but Governor Mike Braun sent out this statement today calling a special session in Indianapolis, laying out exactly what he's doing. So the special session will deal with redistricting and federal and state tax issues. Now, here's what's interesting. He said, quote, "I'm calling a special legislative session to protect Hoosiers from efforts in other states that seek to diminish their voice in Washington and ensure the representation in Congress is fair. I'm also asking the legislature to conform Indiana's tax code with new federal tax provisions to ensure stability and certainty for taxpayers and tax preparers for 2026 filings." Well, that's kind of interesting because it was Republicans and Donald Trump who actually started this war when it comes to racist gerrymandering. It started in Texas. California responded. Republicans got pissed because they thought California should just be quiet and not do anything. And so then Virginia said, we got you. You got Republicans in Ohio, in Florida, Georgia. They're all trying to gerrymander. They're even talking about trying to get rid of the only black seat in South Carolina. Now, we already saw what Missouri did. They got rid of Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver's seat. These things are going on. Now, there are a lot of folks who are saying, well, this stuff is not right. It's unfair in that, you know what, this is going to hurt overall. But the reality is you have to fight fire with fire. Republicans are scared to death that they're going to lose anywhere from 10 to 12 seats next year. As a result, they said, hey, we got to sit here and we got to take as many seats as we can to offset the losing of those seats. They know they've screwed up with their policies. You take Iowa, for example. Oh, they've gone for Donald Trump twice. Their economy is in tatters because of his tariff battle. Yeah, that's all on him. So all this is happening. Then, of course, you got that Supreme Court case that Callis case, we'll deal with that later, to Louisiana, where that decision, and based upon how their questionings went, we know how they're going to rule, that decision could wipe out another 12 to 19, upwards of 30 seats all across the South, mostly black, but also involving some Latinos. So what we're dealing with is a massive realignment that could keep Democrats in the minority for the next 50 years and solidify Republican rule in the House. And you already see what's happening with the Senate. Joining us right now, Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Cliff, glad to have you here. You know, we always talk about elections have consequences. Mm-hmm. And we warn people repeatedly, hey, if they get in, mm-hmm. here's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And all of these things are happening. So all of these people who are running their mouths are going like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. Why? They told you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they told us exactly what they were going to do. Kamala told us exactly what they were going to do. We at Black Voters Matter and a whole bunch of organizations, you told everybody what they were going to do, and that's exactly what they're doing. And that's just what you said is exactly what the goal is to create a permanent one-party state. If they're able to do this, and keep in mind that this isn't even just at the congressional level, right? If they get rid of the Voting Rights Act, not only can they attack all those congressional seats, at least 19, and like you said, possibly even up to 33, but this means that they can do it up and down the ballot. They can redistrict and gerrymander and eliminate us at the state legislatures, at the county commission level, at the city council level, all these school boards, every issue that we deal with, that we value, from housing to environment, to jobs, you name it, on all these issues, we would lose out.
It's to wipe out black leadership.
It's completely wipe out black leadership and to give black communities no voice.
Right, and I keep telling people, this is about defunding black America. Right. It is attacking the political infrastructure, mm-hmm. it's attacking academic, it's mm-hmm. attacking social, it's attacking nonprofit. That's what they're doing right now.
That's right, and we need, the good news is this, we have some tools that we can use, right? We know what California is doing with Prop 50, which is not guaranteed, right? So if you know somebody in California, you need to be talking to them, making sure that they're gonna go out and vote. We see what Virginia is doing, right? The Republican governor over there, Youngkin, loses his mind, all upset, like clutching the pearls because the Virginia Democrats decided that they would go after maybe 2, maybe even 3 seats in Virginia to counteract what's going on in Texas and Missouri and some of these other states. And so, but that's not enough, right? If they continue to push it in places like Ohio, maybe even places like Florida, then we need Maryland. Governor Moore has been talking some good stuff, right? Saying that he's willing to fight fire with fire, but we need to keep the pressure on in Maryland. And we definitely need to keep the pressure on in some place like New York, where it's very difficult because of the way that their redistricting process is set up. But still, whatever power they can do, like we need them to do what Virginia did, where they found a way to say, oh, you wanted us in session and you never closed out that session, so we're gonna come back and we're gonna use that session, right, to push back. Mm-hmm. We need folks in New York doing the exact same thing.
One of the things that I remember a number of years ago when I had my TV One show, Washington Watch, and Cornell Belcher mm-hmm. Argued that it was nonsensical. He argued that black folks should be thinking about these districts differently. Yeah. He said, in many of these cases, you got African Americans who are saying, hey, we want more seats. Right. He said, but you have to understand what they're doing. He said they would love nothing more mm-hmm. to pack as many black people as possible mm-hmm. into congressional seats, right? In order to eliminate white Democrats. Right. Cornell argued, well, that hurts black power right. because the reality is the issues that we advocate, you can be black, yeah. you can be elected, but what power do you have right. when you're not in the majority? That's right. When you're never the chair of a committee, when you're never the chair of a subcommittee. Mm-hmm. And so we're seeing that right now. So this is a story from the Bulwark where you have blacks in Maryland and Illinois mm-hmm. who are saying, oh no, we're not interested. This is what they wrote. In a Zoom meeting with Jeffries last week, members of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus made clear that they weren't interested in redrawing their state's map if it meant diluting the share of black voters in districts that have historically been represented by black members. Given that it would be nearly impossible to do a redraw without moving voters out of these districts, it was interpreted as a pretty clear no. When I asked, this is Sam Stein as a piece, when I asked State Senator Willie Preston, the Senate chair of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, whether he was risking disempowering Democrats nationally in order for black Democrats to hold on to power in Illinois, he said he didn't give it, actually this is a paid piece, he basically said he didn't care about helping Democrats who wants to protect black people.
Right.
Okay, I get your point, but you actually are not protecting black people if that's your stance, if you're always going to be in the minority.
Right, because there's black folks in your state, in Illinois, who won't have health care, who won't have access to education, who won't have access to housing, who won't be able to deal with police violence. And so by not protecting us nationally, you are hurting your own community, even in your own state. Now, it's a real issue. I don't want to ignore that issue, because in California, that's part of what we're actually seeing with that Prop 50, right? Which is, in order to add those 5 districts, they had to move around some stuff, and as a result, some of the black districts may not, they'll probably stay black, but they may not be as black, right? And we have to have a conversation. I think what you're getting at is, look, they can't all be 70% black or 65% black, right? If it goes from 65 to 60, and we're able to protect the country and doing so, our communities across the country, then that's something that we need to talk about. But the other issue is this. We got to have a larger discussion around this entire redistricting process, right? I know you remember, just as I do, in '93 when Clinton won and he nominated Lonnie Guinier to be in the Department of Justice. And then he pulled her nomination because he said that some of her ideas were dangerous. And I remember being like a college student at the time. I said, well, wait a minute. If they're saying this sister's so dangerous, I want to know more about what she was talking about. She was talking about proportional representation. And she saw it as a way to deal with the very fundamental problem that we have. Because what she said was, in this country, or in any country, as long as you are a minority group in a simple majority rule, first to the post, single-member districts, that you are always going to be in a bad situation, right? And so we got to start having some more. We got to fight for the Voting Rights Act, because there's a bunch of stuff that we need to protect that the Voting Rights Act deals with. But we also got to start having some conversations around what other structural solutions do we have to make sure that we get the representation, and to deal with the issue that you're saying, that once we get that representation, that we're actually able to govern and rule and to pass good policy.
Of course, this was when Lonnie Guinier was actually appointed. She passed away 3 years ago. And see, what I am trying to walk people through is an understanding of power.
That's right.
And again, then you get these people, they're like, well, you're just being a shield for the Democratic Party. Here's a perfect example. Yesterday, my man Keenan Towns had a golf tournament for his foundation at Langston Golf Course in D.C. And then they had a community picnic on the driving range afterwards. So backyard band is playing, and there's this brother who's there. He's an Omega. And so he comes up to me and he says, yeah, I'm an Omega, got his gear on. I'm one of those black men who voted for Trump. I said, okay. So he starts telling me about, Kamala, she really Indian. She wasn't black. She didn't claim black. And I was like, well, that's a lie.
Right.
So he starts going on and on, this nonsense. And he starts talking about, we got to have, FBA specific policies. And so he's going, and I heard you, and I said, okay, you do know, you are aware you cannot pass black specific. Well, no. The Asians got a bill. I said, did they really? No, I didn't heard that. I said, really? I said, what did the Asians get? Well, the Asians got a hate crime law. That's a lie. I said, it's a lie. I said, what was the name of the bill? He couldn't even name the bill. I said, did you go through the data? I said, did you go pull the hate crimes bill that was passed when black churches were being burned down? I said, was that bill specific to only black churches? No. It was churches, mosques, synagogues, houses of worship. I said, now, in the summary, it talked about black churches being targeted.
Okay.
I said, dude, you know what the hell you're talking about? So then he's going on and on and on. And well, no, I said, okay. I said, let me ask a question. I said, you got any respect for Shirley Chisholm? I said, she wasn't FBA. I said, oh, Harry Belafonte? Not FBA. I said, Malcolm X's mama, where was she born?
Right.
I started naming all these. I said, Sidney Poitier. Right. I started doing, I said, now I'm confused with all. I said, he's like, well, you know, I look at my life and there was nothing in my life that got better on the Democrats. So I said, why did I give this man a chance? And I was like, oh, okay. And so while he's sitting there, so I'm sitting there hitting this fool on policy. Right. And he is absolutely ignorant on policy. And he's sitting here going and all this sort of stuff. And I start bringing up housing. Well, as I'm talking, Joe Asamoah walks by. I said, oh, speaking of housing, this sister worked in the hood under Biden-Harris. And so she comes over, she was like, oh, Lord. She said, is my frat one of these I said, yep. I said, yeah, your frat brother, one of the MAGA people. Right. So then she sits here, and then she said, oh, I'm the one who wrote the HUD, racial justice policy. I said, you voted for a man who's getting rid of the policy. So I started naming all this anti-black stuff. Right. That little Mega walked away and went back and listened to the concert. And I'm like, fool, this is what I'm talking about. This is about power. Right. This is about the seizing of power. Right. And when we get caught up in, oh, you just shilling for the Democrats, no, fool. I got to look at the chessboard to go, okay, what are the issues that I care about? That's right. And if I outline 5 of them, where does the Republican Party stand versus the Democratic Party? That does not mean Democrats are perfect, but I got to be smart enough to understand that I'm going to voluntarily get my ass kicked if I don't read the board right. And I will, for all things that I claim I want, I will never get. That's right. Because I will be out of power.
That's right. We'll be out of power. And folks who are running literally on anti-blackness, trying to erase black history, trying to erase black jobs, trying to kick black folk out of the armed services, and we know what that's all about, right? That's potential coup type stuff. But you just go down the road. They're not even trying to hide it. And what we have to recognize, going back to this redistricting discussion, is because redistricting isn't sexy. I get it, right? Don't nobody want to have a conversation, about redistricting and about gerrymandering. If you give me having a conversation about versus, or a conversation about the NBA, or a conversation about gerrymandering, I'd love to pick either one of the first two. But at the end of the day, no matter what your issue is, right? No matter who you are, even if you're the confused Omega brother that you're talking about, whatever his issue is, whatever anybody's issue is, you can't get progress on it as a black person in this country, especially right now, if we don't have a government that reflects us, where we don't have any representation.
My problem while he was running his mouth was everything I mentioned anti-black. Right. I ain't know that. Right. I said, what the hell are you then watching? Right. I said, you voted for a guy claiming, well, I'm going to give him a shot. Right. I said, and here you're standing before me telling me how you want this foundational black Americans agenda, and you literally know nothing about I said all of the anti-black stuff. I brought up they want to get rid of the federal DBA program, contracts. I said they rule against Lowndes County, the settlement regarding sewage being backed up in yards. I said they call it legal DEI. I said Cancer Alley in Louisiana, pull out of the lawsuit. The housing lawsuit in Texas dealing with a racist HOA, pull out. I went boom, 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 boom. I said, so now I don't understand. How are you advocating for a foundational black American agenda when you have somebody who is consistently anti-black and you proudly say you and Omega who voted for Donald Trump?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just. This
was just yesterday.
Yeah. And he's not alone, unfortunately, right? Because you got a lot of folks who claim to be pro-black, but they really are anti-black immigrant more than they are pro-black. Right, and a lot of times they're reflecting the same thing that white folks have done for decades and centuries, right? In other words, I don't care how bad you make it for me, as long as you make it worse for them other folk, right? That's what white folk, that's why you got poor white folks that are okay with their poverty as long as they got somebody black or a community that's black that's more poor, or that has more cancer and environmental sludge or whatever. And that's the same thing that some of these black folk, right? That what they do, basically, they're not even paying attention to policies that are impacting us in our community, as long as they can see immigrant, black, Latino, or otherwise getting rounded up and deported and sent out to kidnapped and sent out the country. And so that's a conversation that we gotta have in our community. The good news is, I believe that there's more of us that know the deal, right? That know that we got to, that know that this administration is nothing but anti-blackness, knowing that you got folks running around proud about being a Nazi. Young Republicans in their chat group talking about being a Nazi. The dude that was just running for, or just about to be appointed to be a judge or something, or an attorney, talking about how he's proud to be a Nazi. They are not even trying to hide it. And so again, like you say, it's about power, and we cannot use our power unless we have representation in order to be in these places to get us the policies that we need.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, panel got some questions. I'm going to go to them. We're talking with Cliff Albright, co-founder Black Voters Matter. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count, investing in their future isn't a choice. In Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training.
I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
What's up? It's the MCEO Talib Kweli. You are checking out Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back. I'm talking to Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. My panel is Omekongo Dibinga, senior professor of lecture, School of International Service out of D.C., author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racism. Scott Bowden, attorney out of D.C. as well. Joy Chaney, founder of Joy Strategies out of D.C. as well. All right, let's get right into it. Questions for Cliff. I guess I'll let the Kappa go first.
Well, I wasn't a Kappa you were talking to at the golf tournament, because we ain't got no Kappas that voted for Trump.
Yes, you do.
That's a whole nother
yes,
story.
You do. Yes, you know you do.
Too. Don't start.
You know you do.
Start your shit now. There you go. Here we go.
You know I ain't lying. You know you do.
Cliff, let me get to Cliff. Cliff, love the work that you're doing. What happens when we race to the bottom? When we get done with the race to the bottom and we're not doing it 10 years, we're doing it now 5 years midway, and the Democratic states and the red states get to the bottom, then what? I mean, do we start over? Are there going to be more Republican seats than Democratic seats? I see it as a real attack on our democracy on both sides, actually, but I don't think the Democrats have much choice. But what happened? When the dust settles, what do you think's going to happen, and what's the House and Senate going to look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think two things, maybe even three things. I think one, I think we can look at the way that California has done it, right? Where basically they did it where it was specifically in response to Texas, right? They basically were like, look, if Texas pulls back, we'll pull back. They did it in a way that's time limited, right? So that they'll go back to their normal process at the normal time at the end of the decade. So I think that there are things that you can do even as you are fighting fire with fire, which still establishes that, look, we recognize that fundamentally we got to do all this a different kind of a way, that we do want fairness in the process and fair representation in the process. But in this moment, that we have got to do this fight, because at the end of the day, like you asked, what happens if it's a race to the bottom? If we don't do it now, there is no bottom. Right? It's a bottomless pit that we wind up finding ourselves in. And so the only way to fight it is to do what some of these states have already done and what we're encouraging even more states to do. But being clear, keeping the eyes on the prize, that fundamentally we don't want to be doing this, and that we got these other values that we want to fight for. But you can't fight for those values if, again, to Roland's point, if we ain't got no power. And if we don't have power for decades or for generations, then, we just got a principle that we want to see, but we have absolutely no way to make it be a reality.
Also, I think we have to also recognize, and this is, and I've said this for so long, how Democrats have to understand what power is and what's fair and just. So here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So Eric Holder and Obama, they get together and they launch this national redistricting committee. This is the website. Okay. So all they kept talking about, fair maps, fair maps, fair maps, fair maps, fair maps.
Right.
Okay. Sounds great.
Right.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
But you got one side over here who's talking about fair.
Yeah.
The other side's talking about power. So what happens? This is a story right here in Politico, why Democrats can't match Trump's gerrymander push.
Right.
So it says right here, Democrats trying to counter Donald Trump's red state gerrymander are facing a roadblock. 15 roadblocks, actually.
Yeah.
That's how many Democratic-led states have a political trifecta.
Yeah.
The same setup that helped Texas Republicans push through new maps last month.
Right.
But of those 15, only California has made a serious effort to respond in kind, and even that initiative may fail at the ballot box. Leaders in 14 other states with a Democratic governor and state legislature find themselves unable to move forward, hampered by reasons ranging from constitutional limitations, legal deadlines, and maps that can't be gerrymandered anymore. And perhaps an acknowledgement of these hurdles, Democrats have turned to the courts to try to stopping Republican efforts. So you take Colorado. Colorado would love to do this. They got a state constitution that says you can only redistrict every 10 years.
Right.
So Democrats fought for these laws to be changed to create fair maps. The commission in Michigan, Republicans fought the one in Ohio. They were like, no, we ain't having no nonpartisan committee. We gonna have a damn partisan commission.
Right.
And they completely jacked that up and took it over. Right. So the problem now is, Obama and Holder got no choice but to back this. And this is a perfect example, again, of Democrats saying, no, let's be right. Let's be fair. Let's be just. And Republicans like, okay, that's cute. Power.
Right. They basically, the Democrats unilaterally disarmed. And this is where you find yourself.
I'm giving up my weapons.
Right.
But you get to not only keep yours, you get to go acquire more.
Right. Like both of us, we got to put our knives down on 3, and you count to 3, and you put yours down, and the other dude's still holding his knife.
Well, he holding his knife, and now he done pull out a gun. And now he got a grenade. And you like.
Right.
No, but we agreed to put, they like, no. You agreed to put your stuff down.
Right.
I didn't.
Now, there were black folk who tried to tell them not to do that. Not the two that you mentioned, right? But there were some other black folks and black organizations that said, look, this is a bad idea. Why? Because we know the nature of the opposition that we up against. See, there's a lot of white folks that still don't understand, and some black, like the Omega dude you was talking to, that still don't understand the nature of the opposition that we up against, right? We knew that we couldn't trust them. We knew that we couldn't unilaterally disarm. Now, if you had to do the commission, you could have built some stuff into it that would have said, look, we're gonna do this commission, but if these other folks start acting a fool, we've got this out that we can go to without having to do another constitutional amendment or having to go back to court. You could have built that into the system. That's how you fight for your values, but you still remain cautious and watchful, right? But we didn't do it. These states didn't do that. That's why we're having to push so hard for some of these blue states, like New York and like some of those other ones, to try to do whatever they can to undo and correct, even if it's temporarily, to undo and correct it, even if you're going to wind up having to go to court later.
Right.
Because that's what he does.
Again, see, that's the stupid shit I don't understand. What New York did last time, they were pleading with Hochul, yo, file the appeal.
Right.
No. You just handed them 4 or 5 seats, and what's the problem? Right now, Democrats need a net 3 seats to reclaim the majority. I'm like, you trying to be fair.
That's right.
Screwed your party out of power.
That's right.
It makes no sense. Joy, question.
Hi, Cliff. I'm so glad to have you on tonight. So what are you all doing in terms of, to pull together a strategy here, right? And you don't have to tell me all the strategy, but what's the leadership of civil rights groups, others doing to come together and to say everything you said is right? What are we going to do about it, though?
Yeah.
And how are we going to bring in to alignment some of these legislators out there who don't see themselves as part of the problem and who are just trying to protect their own seats?
Yeah. No. And that last part, that's a whole show in and of itself. But I think there's several prongs to the strategy, right? The one hand is still to be fighting to protect the Voting Rights Act, to push back on this Calais case that the Supreme Court is hearing right now. That's how come what we did, to answer your question, one of the things we did was we took 300 folks from 8 southern states to show up at the Supreme Court on the day that they were having that hearing last week, because we didn't want that hearing to go by, this potentially historic moment to go by, and they not see that folks in the South got something to say. Because it's black voters in the South and black districts in the South that are going to be most impacted. But that wasn't just about a one-day event or just about having a rally on the steps of the Supreme Court, although that's important in and of itself. It's also about that's the launch of a campaign where from that day until they actually give the decision that we're going to continue to be raising this issue, right? By talking about it in the media like we are today, by doing things like issuing the report that Black Voters Matter did along with Fair Fight that answers the question, what's the impact of this going to be? Our report outlines, as Roland mentioned, there's 19 specific seats that are specifically protected by the Voting Rights Act that would be lost if the Voting Rights Act goes down and these red states redistrict. And then there's some other states, like we said, up to 33 that could also be impacted. So that's part of the strategy, right? Just pushing back and staying engaged and pushing the narrative on the importance of the Voting Rights Act and the importance of this case, right? There's also the electoral piece, because at the end of the day, there are still some electoral options that we have to hold on to the seats that we have, right? So there's that strategy. There's also the pushback in terms of organizing around this, whether it's organizing in red states like Missouri, because keep in mind, they have a petition going right now to get enough signatures so that the people of Missouri can vote on the redone maps that the Missouri legislature just voted. So it's not a done deal if we support those groups and those community members that are doing that organizing. If you know somebody in Missouri, or if you could go to our page and you could find out about who's doing what work in states like Missouri, because we got to support that process the same way that we got to support the vote in California. And then the last thing is, like I said, we've got to be having discussions around what's the next thing, right? What's the thing that we do if the Voting Rights Act is taken apart? What are the other structural changes that we have to be talking about? Those are conversations that we got to have, because most folks in our community, we don't know anything about any other way to even do representation, because we don't pay attention to what goes on in others. There are systems that are used in other states, like South Africa, that the U.S. encourages someplace there to protect white minority that they would never even consider in doing within the United States itself. We got to have some conversations and raise awareness and do some education around what the other options and tools are that go along with trying to protect the Voting Rights Act.
Congo.
Thank you so much, Cliff, for all you continue to do. It's so respected and necessary. I want to know what your thoughts are. In addition to the work that we must continue to do, we never let our guard down. Do you feel like there's any possibility that these redistricting can backfire on Republicans given the way Trump is dealing with the economy right now? I mean, they're having so many FAFO moments that they may still just decide to vote for Democrats regardless of who they get redistricted to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point because we were already seeing some of that possibly in Texas because, again, to create those 5 extra seats that they created, they had to move some stuff around. And basically what they are assuming is that Latino voters, this is what the math that they were doing. They said, wait a minute, this last election in Texas in 24, you saw more Latinos voting for Trump. So we feel like that we can do this redistricting, take power away from black folks, maybe even keep some of those Latino districts intact, and we'll be okay. But what they're also seeing is that his popularity and the Republicans' popularity within those same Latino communities is plummeting. And so it could come back to haunt them, whether it's in Texas or in Missouri or any of these other states, because at the end of the day, they're basing it on some assumptions that are simply no longer true. So, so there's a possibility of that. And again, we need to be doing whatever we can in coalition with some of these other communities to make sure that, you know, we need to push that and to have, they use divide and conquer against us ever since 1619. We need to do the same thing against them.
This is, again, I really need people to underscore what's going on here. They are banking for the Supreme Court decision. In fact, we talked in Louisiana, the state Senate, they voted along party lines to postpone the 2026 election dates. Yeah. The delay would give the state more time to redraw its congressional map. This is assuming the Supreme Court rules in their favor. Republicans expect to craft political districts more to their liking if the Supreme Court rules in their favor where race can't be considered in the creation of the districts. The GOP Senate majority, made up entirely of white senators, outvoted the Democrats, all but one whom are black, 27-9. On Senate Bill 1, the bill moves the qualifying period for political candidates and the 2 spring election dates for congressional primary contests back by approximately 1 month. Elections scheduled for April 18th and May 30th would move to May 16th and June 27th, respectively. The delayed election timeline will create more opportunities for the Republican-controlled legislature to draw newest U.S. House districts. Now, again, what this is all about, Supreme Court, Cliff, has this precedent, which doesn't matter because these folks don't care about precedent, where when it comes time to draw, they'll may say, hey, it's not enough time for the legislature to redraw districts, for the voters to be notified, and then for them to vote. That's what this is all about. These Republicans, they lost to the Supreme Court the creation of the second black district. Then they said, well, no, let's now join. They will not recruit some white folks to say that the creation of this second black district brought them harm, which they never identified what the harm is, and they expedited this lawsuit. And the writing was on the wall when the Supreme Court asked for briefs from both sides over eliminating these districts based upon the issue of race.
Yeah, and keep in mind, like, as an example, if we go back to abortion in the Dobbs case, right? Dobbs case was heard about the same time as this case, but the Dobbs decision came out when? It came out as late as like in June or something like that. And theoretically, that could happen with this case as well, but because of all the reasons that you were saying, we know that we got a corrupt, partisan, no good Supreme Court that is going to try to do everything they can to work the timetable the same way that they did with some of the other gerrymandering cases that could have been decided in 22, but instead they delayed. Like even those new seats that we got in Alabama and Louisiana, that could have happened in 22 and not in 24.
But they froze them in place by saying, yeah, we know the lower courts ruled they were illegal, but we're going to freeze them in place and force for 2 years.
Right, so we know that this court is
the 2021 Texas case is still ongoing.
That's right, that's right. So we know they're going to do whatever they can to play with that time, to play with the calendar, and that's what you see. Literally, you see a coordination strategy of the Supreme Court, which will probably try to move up its decision, right? What could have been months could be decided in a matter of weeks. So they're combining that with the strategy that you were just reading, where you got these states that are saying, oh, we're going to push back our stuff so it can give the court more time to do whatever it's going to do. They're literally colluding. They might as well just be in a huddle together, the Supreme Court and these red state legislatures.
And again, for all of these people who we always say connect the dots, who don't understand what's going on here. What we're talking about here is power.
Yeah.
We're talking about money. This, we talk about who represents who. This and see, this is the stuff, it grates on me when I'm listening to these yahoos who are like, I don't know what the CBC, they're trash, they're not doing anything. These people have no idea the role that a lawmaker plays in inserting language in bills and removing language in bills.
Right.
All sorts of different things. You don't even have to pass a bill to have a major impact on the bill because you sit on a particular committee.
Right.
What type of projects that you slide in.
Right.
And that's people don't understand.
Right.
So if the Supreme Court rules this way and you wipe out 12, 19, 30 black districts, we're talking billions upon billions of dollars.
Right. That's right.
That will not be going to black communities because they have removed those members of Congress.
That's
black
right.
members of Congress.
That's right.
That is a fact.
Right. At a time when you're already seeing disinvestment in our communities, whether it's, again, from healthcare, from SNAP, from block grants, or whatever the case may be, Department of Education. And so not having this representation, none of the representation is perfect. You're always going to find something to criticize about every representative or whatever. But when you have zero voice, when you have zero representation, there's no scenario where that comes out to the benefit of our community.
And the last point is, when you also sit your ass at home and don't vote, you actually make all of this a lot easier.
That's right. That's right. And again, whatever your issue is, you don't have to be passionate about redistricting and gerrymandering. But if you're passionate about one of those other issues, then you need to be involved.
I ain't got to love the candidate.
That's right.
I ain't got to love the party.
That's right.
I ain't got to be in love.
That's right.
We ain't got to like each other.
That's right.
But here's what I do know. And all these dumbasses will go, well, it's like I'm choosing the lesser of two evils. Guess what? Nearly 400,000 black women, no jobs. That's evil. When you see the anti-black agenda that Trump is executing, that's evil.
That's right.
When you see how he is withholding money from blue states and giving money to red states, that's evil. We can walk down. So when people say that stupid shit, I think I'm choosing the lesser of two evils, I keep saying, one of them is going to win.
That's right. That's right.
One of them is going to win.
And one of them doesn't care if you live or die. And that is no exaggeration. And that's the way that they're treating our communities right now.
All right, Cliff Albright, we appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
And y'all, this is Cliff's first time in our Black
This fly studio you got here. Look at Roland.
We do a little something. We do a little something. This is how we do it.
I see you.
I appreciate it. And also, folks, and I'll say this, I had no problem. Black Voters Matter has been one of the few black organizations that has consistently supported this show and this network financially since we launched. So there's a lot of people talk about how we need to work together, we need to sit here and support our own, but y'all have been one of the few, so I appreciate y'all's support of the show. Switch. Come on, I'm talking to Cliff. Come on, thank you. My God, I appreciate y'all's support of the show. Thank you so very much. And we're gonna be real busy in 2026.
That's right. We love you. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Cliff.
All right,
folks. Don't leave us yet, because you're gonna walk behind me while I'm talking.
Right.
All right, folks. When we come back, lots to break down, and I gotta talk about these crazy ass white folks who are now mad, hollering about DEI. Like, why do black people not supporting Winsome Sears? Because she's crazy and needs a hot comb. All right, we'll be back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Afrotech, it's a lot of beauty, a lot of brilliance, a lot of intellect, a lot of innovation.
Companies that are most diverse are more profitable.
We're getting culture, we're getting community, we're getting the best of the best. And not only are we here to greet each other, but we're here to network and to elevate each other.
Everybody from all the major tech companies here, and that means that now everybody's in the same domain.
The
This is the premier event every year. This is really where we could take off. You can go fast by yourself, but we go farther together.
This is where you're supposed to be.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
As a pastor, I hear a lot about trips to the doctor, bills piling up, jobs being lost. So as your delegate, I went to work writing laws that protect families, helping parents care for their disabled children, capping insulin costs, lowering prescription prices, and investing in our police and schools. I'm Josh Cole, and as your delegate, I'm working to keep us strong and safe.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're continuing our series of putting in the work, A Chef's Journey. Are you an aspiring chef? Someone who already has a business, trying to figure out what your next steps will be, who to talk to, and how to get there? Well, on this week's show, our great guests and wonderful chefs will talk to you about what it means to discover your purpose, your why of being in the kitchen, and then knowing how to put a business together.
The menu controls everything. The menu determines everything. But the business plan is where you have to go back to.
When you get into the business, at the end of the day, you know, social media and TV, all of that stuff is cool, but you still have to run a business. You still have to be in relationship with people.
That's all next on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Devon Frank.
I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, day 27 of the federal government shutdown, that is the Donald Trump MAGA-imposed government shutdown. Senators return today to vote on various measures, but there's no discussion about reopening the federal government. There appears to be no end in sight to the standoff, which is causing financial hardship for millions of people. In 5 days, the open enrollment period for the Affordable Care Act begins. Many will likely see their healthcare premiums increase if the enhanced subsidies put in place during the COVID-19 pandemic are not extended. A deal seems unlikely with the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief Donald Trump out of the country. More than 700,000 federal workers have been furloughed, while nearly as many are working without pay. Essential employees, including military personnel, law enforcement officers, border patrol agents, and air traffic controllers are still required to work regardless of the shutdown, but it is causing lots of air issues. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said he can't guarantee there will not be delays. AFGE, the American Federation of Government Employees, the president, Everett Kelly, AFGE is calling for an end to the shutdown. This is what they write on their website. This week, Congress pushed our nation to the 4th week of full government shutdown, an avoidable crisis that is harming families, communities, and the very institutions that hold our country together. As president of the American Federation of Government Employees, I represent over 800,000 federal and D.C. government workers who serve with pride and professionalism. Senator Dick Durbin actually said that he thinks that AFGE calling for this end of the shutdown is going to have an impact, but we'll see if that actually takes place. I totally get it. I understand it, Joy, why AFG is making the move, but understand, we're talking about, they represent 800,000 federal employees. You're talking about federal health subsidies, and we're talking about SNAP, other things that are impacting multiple millions of people. And so the shutdown actually has a broader impact beyond just the federal employees.
It does. And the fact of the matter is, by November 1st, when we are getting these, when people their window shopping will happen nationwide, right? It's already been happening in several states. And so where we've seen that and people see a more than 70% increase, it will become obvious to the entire nation what the Democrats have been talking about, not just in the last few months, but because this is also what I do in my day job, what we've been talking about for more than a year, saying that, look, these are going to expire and we need to extend them. It did not have to be this dramatic. So unfortunately, this is just a moment where, we are dealing with some pain, and that's terrible. But it's staving off what will be hopefully avoiding pain for a lot of people. And by the way, even if you are not the beneficiary of one of these subsidies, you're just when there's a spike for one who gets the subsidy, others will see a spike. So you will also see an increase in your premiums for 2026. So my prediction is that we're going to have an end to this in the next week or so, because all of those Republicans who have, kind of been like, we need to deal with something, but, Trump won't come to, okay, they're going to be very upset because they're going to have a lot of angry people saying, I cannot go from paying $700 to paying more than $2,000.
Ome Congo, Mike Johnson made one of the stupidest comments I've ever seen in my life. When asked why he is not bringing the House back together, he said, my members are learning so much and hearing so much from home. I want them to continue to keep doing that work. I'm like, who the hell does he think he's fooling?
I mean, the way that he just finds new ways to lie. Somebody said that, he lies so easily that he must be like lying about something else because he's just so comfortable with it. I was thinking about this as I was on the way home for the show today. Where are the videos of the Republicans? Where are the videos of the Republicans back home having town halls? Are they out at food banks helping with the people? He's talking about, they're back home talking to and working with their constituents. Their constituents don't control the direction of healthcare. It's the Democrats here in D.C. that they're supposed to be meeting with. So I need people to post their videos of Republicans out there doing the work, meeting with constituents, but even all of that is going to be irrelevant because they're supposed to be at the table here. They're gone, haven't done anything, since like early September, and Trump, first president to leave the country during a shutdown. I mean, this is what I was talking about with my question to Cliff, like, how long are people going to realize that these guys have pulled the wool over their head, and Mike Johnson comes up with new lies every single day, and I just feel like at some point, these folks in those red districts who may not give a damn about us are going to give enough of a damn about themselves to get out there and finally do something, showing up at their representatives' doors, showing up in other places where they see them, and maybe even showing up in D.C. to let them know, we're here, you're not, get your behinds down here and get something done.
Well, it's easy, Scott. The New York Times is reporting that Donald Trump often jokes about how he can get Mike Johnson to do whatever he wants. He's a puppet. And part of the reason we're seeing all this stuff happen is because Republicans have no guts, no spine, and they won't stand up to their dear leader.
Well, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in regard to the shutdown. My colleague, I think he'll take a friendly amendment. The MAGA and the right-wing conservatives are encouraging their elected officials, including Trump, to stand strong because they're not smart enough to understand that what they're supporting is going to be against their interests. When their insurance premiums go up, when they lose Medicare and Medicaid, and they're just going to turn around and blame the Democrats. They'll never blame the Republicans or Donald Trump for it. So, it's one thing to vote against your interests. It's another thing to be so committed to ignorance, if you will, or just plain dumbness that, you let the Republicans just pick your pocket, blame the Democrats, and you go along with it, even though you can't put food on the table or your children are sick. And so I don't think it's going to end in the next week or two. What's going to end it is when the Republicans decide to have a conversation now versus later. See, they'll never win the debate with the public because it's a conversation. I've tried lots of cases over my lifetime as a lawyer, and it all begins, settlement and resolution begins at mediation. And when you get to the mediation table, the mediator doesn't care how you got there. He cares about right now, how we're going to fix it. And the only way you're going to really fix this thing is to have a conversation about extending those subsidies. Because if you're not going to have a conversation now, and we vote for a continuing resolution, you're never going to have it, because your continuing resolution is to continue the law, and the law, those subsidies go away. They're in place already. Democrats will have no leverage, and the Republicans will have no interest to talk about it. So they've got to take a stand now. And in the end, the debate and the discussion, well, why won't we have a conversation now versus later? You got to have that conversation now. And once they get enough of it, when that conversation takes place, they're going to have to concede, probably both sides, but the conversation has to take place now versus later.
All right. Hold tight 1 second. We come back. White professor at HBCU gets fired. Then she starts making all sorts of claims against the university president. That president is now firing after the lawsuit. We'll tell you about that next. Also, we have our Crocket Chronicles with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett tears into Donald Trump over his violent, racist immigration policy. Plus, why white Republicans all of a sudden focus on DEI? They're mad that Obama is campaigning in Virginia for Abigail Spanberger and not supporting Winsome Sears. And then they're saying how the rally yesterday for Mamdani in New York, it wasn't diverse enough. Now y'all care about black people? We're going to discuss all that in the second hour of the show. Don't forget, support the work that we do. Join our Breen and Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. I make it perfectly clear. Look, we don't, unlike these conservative outlets, we don't have these billionaires cutting massive checks. And so your support is critical for what we do, supporting this show, but also the other 4 shows on our network, plus the shows that we're launching, our daily news show, a news show at noon that we're going to be launching, plus another weekly show. So all that's going to be happening right here. So support the work that we do. If you want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. Remember, Cash App cancel a number of accounts, including ours, because they changed their rules of what kind of company that you have. So if you want to contribute via Cash App, do not use anything you see on social media tied to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Those are fake accounts. We're working to get those closed. So use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. You can also PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo is RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Text and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. We'll be right back.
Said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's a time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion, and we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Next on The Black Table with me, Greg Carr.
Why the America we live in today is not what the founders intended or what they outlined in the Declaration of Independence and even the Constitution. Professor and author Kermit Roosevelt will join us to talk about his book, The Nation That Never Was. How history was misinterpreted, the intent and realities of America's beginnings, and missed a much better story in the process.
So if you have to pick some group to marginalize, I think it should be the people who are against equality.
That's next on The Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Russell L. Honoré, Lieutenant General, United States Army, retired, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
I got it. Let's go. All right, folks. A 10-year white professor at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, HBCU. Since she's suing the school, she claims that she was fired. She says she's been on conservative media saying that her termination was racially motivated. Donna Satterley spent more than 20 years teaching human ecology and child development, said she faced ongoing harassment from administrators, was denied a hard-earned promotion, said she was the lowest paid person, she had unanimous department support, and ultimately lost her job over what she calls vague and baseless, quote, bullying claims. University's president, Dr. Heidi M. Anderson, says Sarah Lee has spent the last few weeks attacking her personally, her name and reputation. She said, enough is enough. So Anderson has slapped her with a $1 million lawsuit for attacking Dr. Anderson's educational pedigree. Joining us right now is Dr. Anderson, president of University of Maryland Eastern Shore, her attorney, James Walker. I'd like to have both of y'all here. So, all right, when did all this start? So just like, how long has this been going on?
Probably for several weeks now, Roland. First of all, thank you for having us on the show.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here. You're kind of like, a fan for me.
I appreciate it. So walk us through this. So she worked for the university for a couple of decades, doing what?
Who knows? No, just seriously. She's a faculty member that worked at the university for some time and did not get promoted. Mm-hmm. Yes. And this has been going on for, I would imagine, for a few weeks, where she has made it her mission to probably say things about me that are not true. And that is definitely what she's been doing.
As well as filed several lawsuits.
So she's filed lawsuits against?
The university, the provost, I think faculty, Dr. Anderson, practically anybody you can think of. She's brought a number of bogus suits that the Attorney General's office is handling, but then she
because you're a state institution, that's what the AG's office handles.
Correct.
Got it.
Then she's attacked her individually with false claims about her pedigree, her dissertation, and her educational background and other things. So we have now looked into the fact that is not true. There was no kind of plagiarism, and we have hit her with $1 million lawsuit effective this morning.
So she was claiming plagiarism in what?
She was claiming plagiarism in my doctoral dissertation, which is not true. My academic work is high integrity, and it also was reviewed very rigorously by the normal, regular channels that happen at universities.
Well, and we know that this has been one of the ways that conservatives have been attacking black presidents. We saw what happened at Harvard. We saw what's happened at other universities, trying to go after them. This is right here an interview where Sarah Lee was on the right-wing news network Newsmax. And so, of course, in this day and age, the right-wing media will pick this thing up extremely quickly. And so, again, she's claiming fire termination. But for people who don't understand, walk through that process of what that is when someone is no longer with the university.
Well, I don't want her to answer too much because obviously it's ongoing litigation.
Gotcha. But is this person still with the university or no longer with the university?
She is still with the university, to my knowledge, as are some of her cohorts, but she didn't get the promotion that she thought she would.
So just be clear, Sarah Lee is still employed with the university, but is claiming she got terminated.
Yeah, she's no longer with the university.
Okay.
But like my lawyers are saying, it is an ongoing investigation. Right. So I think that we should let the lawyer respond to that.
Mm-hmm. And, that's fine. So is she still an employee?
She's still technically an employee, but she's not in the position that she thought she should have gotten.
So she felt she should have gotten a promotion.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And then it's claiming, had near unanimous support for whatever. For universities, how does that even work? Like how one gets promoted? You've got colleges, you've got departments, the college, then it goes all the way up. This notion that the president somehow is determining like a particular person in the college.
Typically, Roland, the way professors get promoted is going through a rigorous review process. And that starts at the department level where those individuals happen to be housed, because it makes more sense to have their peers look at their work and evaluate.
Right, so department level.
That moves right up.
And the department's in a college.
That's correct.
So College of Liberal Arts, College of Business, or whatever.
Correct.
Yes, at the university level.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so from an administrative standpoint, those folks are above the colleges. So you got a lot of layers that are there between a person in a department and a provost or a president.
Very much so. A lot of layers.
Which, by the way, is the reason why we say, why are you attacking Dr. Anderson? She is so removed. I don't think you've even had really any interaction with this individual. She wouldn't know you on any personal basis. So for her to come out and attack HBCUs and say, I was denied because I'm a white woman, there was bullying, there was harassment, it's an HBCU, you're not taking care of white people, you're looking out for your own, all of this kind of nonsense versus just competency.
Was it?
Versus just, did you earn the job?
She was there 20 years?
I believe so.
So she's claiming bullying. She stayed at a place for 2 decades where you were uncomfortable? I wouldn't be staying 2 months.
Well, now she's got a bigger problem because Dr. Anderson regrettably did not want to take legal action, but this lady is in all kind of right-wing magazines, Newsmax, as you said, and other outlets. So she was left with no other alternative to say, wait, I got to defend my name, my reputation, my character, my pedigree, my dissertation. She's been forced to be here tonight. She doesn't want to be here tonight, but she had to take legal action because there's some kind of witch hunt towards black academics, particularly black female leaders in our country.
Well, because look, we're operating in this virulent anti-DEI world where I have been saying repeatedly that what we are seeing are black institutions under vicious assault, this effort to defund black America, and if you're black in corporate America, if you're in nonprofit, you're at universities, and beyond just HBCUs, we're talking about the brother at George Mason, the brother
Maryland, University of Maryland,
at Virginia Maryland Institute. On and on and on. VMI. We're seeing all of this, and to your point, rarely does someone file a counter suit like the one you're filing.
First of its kind.
And typically you're having just to deal with the attacks, and folks say, just be quiet, let it work out.
Typically that happens, you're correct, Roland, but it happens because when you're in the public face and you also happen to be leading an institution and doing bold things, you're going to get people who are distracting you.
Tell them what bold thing happened on Friday.
Oh, I'm going to tell them.
Tell him.
Yes. Distractions occur, and what you have to do is look beyond that. Give you an example. The real story here is, why did UMES receive another large gift from McKinsey Scott? We got $20 million from McKinsey Scott 5 years ago. And on Friday, we were able to announce another $38 million from McKinsey Scott. A gift of that nature, both of them $58 million, that to me is the real story here.
Well, and also, let's be real clear.
Under her leadership.
Let's be real clear. Scott is not just handing out money.
Not at all.
She has a team that does rigorous review process to determine who she supports.
Yes, very much so. And that's what I mean. Why UMES? Not every other HBCU. Well, it's because of our leadership. It's because of the leadership, not just my leadership, but my faculty, my staff, all of our students. I have student leaders who are amazing, Roland. You would not believe it, but they have actually done outstanding jobs and made amazing things out there, solving problems of the world. We had one student this year, a freshman, went to Italy to present his research. When does that happen all the time? Not at all.
And Ms. McKenzie usually only gives one award.
She only gives one award, and it is also, you don't come back and get a second one. So I have to tell you, when they called me a few weeks ago and said, President, we want to give you another award. I actually said, is this a hoax? Is because you only get one. And we got one 5 years ago, and now they're calling to give another. Why? We have been increasing enrollment. 5 consecutive years of increased enrollment at UMES.
What is the enrollment at Eastern Shore?
We're over 3,000 students.
Gotcha.
Okay.
What was it there when you arrived, and how long ago did you arrive?
I've been here 8 years now, and slightly less than, probably around 2,400.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been increasing.
20%.
And we basically have added academic programs. The story at UMES, we are adding a veterinary medicine school. We will be the second HBCU in the country with a veterinary medicine school, actually the first in the state of Maryland. And there's a shortage of veterinarians out there. And so this is going to be direly needed.
I'm a Texas A&M graduate, so I kind of know a little bit about vet schools.
You know a little bit about vet schools?
Yeah, we kind of have a major vet school there. So yeah, I know a little bit about vet schools.
I know you would know a little bit about it. So, and we're going to look at partnerships from all of those particular schools. But those are not the only things. We are one of the only HBCUs that has an aviation science BS degree in the state of Maryland. So I like to say to people, my kids can actually learn to fly the plane, land the plane, and also fix the plane, all right? We actually have more comprehensive health professions than any other HBCU in the country. We are an 1890 land-grant institution, which means we are founded in agriculture. Our roots are there. And we make sure that those particular things that we do for the public really helps impact and solve the public problems. So if you're talking about healthcare disparities, or you're talking about solving problems of the soil, if you think about the Eastern Shore where we're located, chicken litter becomes a problem to the soil. And we help make sure the farmers know how to take care of that and how to fix it. And then we work across our departments in a major way. Give you an example. You have Smith Island. There's a small little island off the part of Eastern Shore. And our School of Technology and Engineering has partnered with our Health Sciences School to figure how do you use drones to fly the medicines over there. Because in the wintertime, when it gets very, very icy, you can't get to Smith Island. If there's hurricanes, you can't get over there. So that partnership, and we have more and more programs like that throughout the entire school. To me, that is the true story. And Mackenzie Scott recognized that. And she recognized that we are a leader in the world. We are there. And as I say, distractions happen. When distractions happen to me, Roland, I stay mission focused.
And let me chime in, Roland.
So before you do that, 1 second. You mentioned being a land grant institution. And I covered the lawsuit that was taking place with the 4 HBCUs that resulted in the settlement. But one of the other things that under the Biden-Harris administration, when they sent out letters to all these states saying how land grant institutions were cheated out of a lot of money. This is a story right here. It said that if UMES was on equal footing with the 1862 land grant institution, it should have received $321 million in funding over the last 30 years. We were just in Virginia with the show. We were at Virginia State. Virginia State is owed $277.5 million. Tennessee State, we were there with the show last year. They're owed more than $500 million. And I know with Maryland has been doing an advancement, but this money is separate from that settlement. Correct. And so I've been making it clear to lawmakers and others that I fully expect that money that should have gone to UMES, that went to a bunch of these other PWIs, and that money has to be provided, because that came from the federal government that was supposed to be for land grant. So I'm like, any money you get for the state is separate, but make sure that money is made whole.
Understood. And I think you're correct looking at land grants and what we call the one-to-one match. You get money from the federal and you also get your state. And I have to say, I applaud and congratulate Governor Westmore, because he has come in and he's made sure that he's made us whole. And we get more than our one-to-one match. And I am so grateful and thankful to him. My faculty and staff, students, we're all very thankful to him and the legislatures that are in Maryland, because they understand it, they get it. And they recognize giving that, making sure we get our match, that it helps us to go out and do what we do so very well in all of the 24 counties in the state of Maryland. We take care of the needs of those individuals that are there.
Right. Well, I explain to people that match is present. I'm a firm believer that also y'all are owed money. And so Get your money today, but give me that money you owe me. It's like if I loan somebody some money, like, listen, I'm giving you some money today, but you know I loaned you some money 5 years ago.
I hear you, Roland.
So, no, trust me, all these folks do.
Yes.
But the reason I hit this a lot, a lot is because the audience doesn't, and we try to walk our audience through to understand what is happening on many of these campuses.
Of course.
When people are complaining about facilities, old buildings, lack of internet, I'm saying, hey, when you were denied money over 30 years, in this case, $321 million, then you could have built.
It adds up.
You could have, because that's infrastructure. And so when we covered that, the letter that went out said these states deprive HBCUs of more than $12 billion. That's with a B. And so I'm always telling our folks that we and then that's where it was coming upon us to be challenging our elected officials and say, hey, make sure you make folk whole. James, you want to say
real quickly, what's amazing about that is with the delays and the failure to give them the monies they do, she has still led this school in a great way. And you keep seeing our leadership attacked across the country, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
And this is why she had to take a stance today, and we stand with her, and we want to encourage other presidents, other provosts, that when they come after you, they're going to pay the price if they're lying.
Yeah, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they remain silent, thinking that's the way to do it. And then the pressure builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden you cross the threshold and it's simply too late, then they end up resigning because of the pressure.
And people believe that falsely. Right. And I think myself, Paul Wilson, Randy McDonald, her husband Leon, we all huddled up and said, you got to fight back. And she fought back. And I salute her, and I'm grateful to Mackenzie Scott for seeing the great leadership. Coincidentally, with the day we filed the lawsuit, she gets $38 million.
You better make a point. Go ahead.
Just going to say, and a number of other people also. And I really have to thank them because I have faculty, I have staff, I have students, I have alumni, partners, corporate partners, and community partners who are all supporting me and have been supporting me, not just the entire time I've been here, but especially through this particular situation. And I just want to say to them, from my bottom of my heart, I appreciate and thank them dearly for all of the support that they have given me. Their messages, text messages, emails, their prayers, I have heard them, I have read them, and they have meant so much in this particular time, at this particular moment.
And thank you, Roland. We hadn't told nobody the story. You're the first one. I said, you got to tell Roland.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting her give this platform.
A question from each panelist. Scott Bolden, you're first. And it's rare I let Kappas ask questions first on my show.
I was gonna
we feel sorry for Scott.
I'm not going there.
I go there every time Scott's here.
I'm not going there, Scott. It's not me.
Oh, God. No, I understand. Roland is special, as my mother would say. But
your mama's right. I asked your question.
Yeah, Dr. President, I know you're a lawyer and I know you're in good hands.
Thank you.
Having sat on the board of trustees for Morehouse College for the last 7 or 8 years, rather, I know the relationship with faculty can be nuanced, can be a challenge. And my question is, do you all have a faculty senate similar to Morehouse and other institutions, historical Black institutions? And where is your faculty senate, if you have one? Where are they on this issue that's been raised by this white professor?
I think that's a very good question, and we do have a faculty senate, and I think that you will find that our faculty senate, because this is an ongoing investigation, I have kept arm's length from them, but I would imagine that they have some concerns about this. That is part of one of the reasons I decided it's time to speak out, because many of those faculty, as I said, have sent me messages, many of our staff, notes, and they're concerned about this, but they also are very supportive of me. And I have seen those messages as words of encouragement from them. So I have not approached them directly, but we do have that type of academic governance structure in place.
Yeah.
Joy.
Roland, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll let you ask the second question. Go ahead.
Real quick. The reason I asked about the faculty senate is because normally you got to have the faculty senate support, and then it goes to the department, and then it goes to the board. And once you get the recommendations, I'm not saying it's perfunctory, but the board isn't going to go against the recommendations of senior management as well as the faculty senate. And so when she talks about this 82%,
unless it's the right wing at Texas A&M, but that's another story.
Right. If she's talking about this major support, is that coming from the Senate or is that coming from her department or both? Maybe that's a better question for your attorney, but I don't want to get too deep into it, but I was curious.
And it's good to see you, Attorney Bolden, one of my dear friends, one of our grandsons in the Kappas. It's good to see you. There's a group of professors or disgruntled, small group that have filed these 5 or 6 frivolous lawsuits, and the Attorney General will deal with that. Her suit is individual outside of the realm of those lawsuits. But the calls that I'm getting, the emails that she's getting, I think quietly has kept the faculty, the Senate, the students, they all stand with her.
Yes.
How can you not when you see 38 million come in on a Friday, 20% growth, the veterinarian school? I mean, I can go down the whole list of what she's done in a very short period of time. But they're standing with her, and we'll have for you probably a copy of their response by this Friday or Saturday from the Attorney General's office, who we've been working close with to find out where they stand on answering these 6 lawsuits. So we feel very good.
Joy?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for giving people a blueprint for how to fight back. What went into your strategy of why to file a lawsuit and fight back? Because this is happening across the country. Many people are well-resourced, and yet they've chosen not to. But you're doing so here.
The reason that I'm fighting back is at some point, when you're a public figure or when you're in leadership, and as I said, my leadership's about leading boldly and making sure that I'm there to transform our students' lives. When it begins to impact our students, when it begins to impact our faculty and staff, you have to take a stance. As a courageous leader, I felt it was time to step up and protect my campus. And also make sure that our students recognize when there's a distraction, not only are you supposed to take time to step up, but you have to deal with the misinformation. People who are in leadership or in public spaces now, sometimes misinformation and disinformation spreads so quickly you can't do anything about it. But when that happens, there is a time that you have to say enough is enough.
And I would add, we first saw just a couple articles in a couple right-wing outlets, but then we saw the Newsmax. When we were on the verge of, should we try to talk to Ms. Satterley privately to get her to rethink these things, send a cease and desist letter, then she went prime time with Newsmax. And at that point, Dr. Anderson called me and said, I'm ready to fight. I think prior to that—
Just so you all know, what you are doing is going to give pause to other people. And that is so great. The next person who decides to use this tactic, which worked with Claudine Gay, they're going to say, I can't afford to engage in this kind of foolishness. So good for you.
Well, thank you.
Ome Congo.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anderson, for your continued leadership on this. After Charlie Kirk was killed, we started to see people going in on campuses and doing disruptive things. And I feel like your school probably got some of that attention, but you're probably going to be getting more of this attention given this lawsuit, given the Newsmax story and the like. You talked about the strength of your students, but have they felt pressure themselves with visits from onto campus, emails, newspapers calling them, that kind of situation, those kind of situations, and how have they handled it?
I don't believe that our students have felt the pressure from that type of media at this time, and I hope and pray that they do not. And if they do, we're going to try to take care of them. We have great mental health counseling services. We make sure that our campus is very safe and secure. And we constantly make sure we're being vigilant about watching and taking care of the students who are on the campus. So at this time, like I say, I hope and pray that that does not happen to them, but we are there to take care of them if it does.
And I would chime in that we are preparing a team of lawyers. We have 20 lawyers under contract, and we are prepared that if we have to step on campus to defend these students, we'll call on brothers like Scott Bolden and others to join us. I'm visiting the campus soon to make sure that the students feel safe, the faculty feels safe, Dr. Anderson, feels safe, and anyone connected therewith. We want to send a clear message that if you make these kind of statements, you're not just going to get hit with a lawsuit, but we're going to monitor it and we're going to meet you at the floor, at the door, and everywhere else to shut this down, because we can't allow I so appreciate what Roland does because we can't allow them to just take our leadership out because, oh, she's a DEI hire, she's a this hire. We can't stand by idly and just watch anymore.
1988, Max Robinson was speaking to
my hero,
a group of Howard students and alumni, and he was talking about journalism. And one of the things he said was, never ever lose your integrity or your credibility because in the end, that's all you've got. And listen, folks can attack tone, they can attack, we don't like you doing this, doing that. But it's a whole different deal when someone literally is attacking the basis of one's professional career. And when a plagiarism charge is leveled against a university professor or a president regarding an academic piece of work or even in journalism, I mean, that's one of the most serious offenses. And so for you, you had to be just highly offended that, oh, you're coming at me for that?
Oh, I was. And I was highly offended because I know that my academic work was completed with the highest level of integrity. It was reviewed rigorously by all of the academic standards, and I passed through that. And it is a rigorous process. So yes, I was highly offended.
And point out, Roland, her chairperson called me and gave me an affidavit.
And so when you say her chairperson?
The person who oversaw her dissertation,
got it.
Yes.
Dr. Mason, he called me and said, I want to talk to you because I've known her 40 plus years. I was the head of the committee that reviewed her dissertation for 2 to 3 weeks. And he basically said she passed every flag, every test. If anything, the committee would have caught something at the school where she got the PhD from. So I thought that said volumes because usually people stand silent on the sidelines when you go through this.
Final comment.
Final comment, I just want to thank all of those people, including my advisor, who have been supporting me through this, all of the faculty, the staff, the students, the community people, the legislators who have sent me messages. All of those have been very, very encouraging and have helped me get through this particular time. And together, we are going to continue to make the University of Maryland Eastern Shore soar above and beyond in everything we do and build and leave a legacy.
All right, then. We're certainly appreciate you coming by and telling the story. So one more thing. So I have been to, well, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Go ahead. I saw the wall out there.
No, I've been to, well, you had that, but so I've been to the 107 HBCUs. I've been to, I think, 59 of them.
You haven't been to UM yet.
2 in Maryland I've not been to. Maryland Eastern Shore and Coppin. And so people, your alumni have hit me before saying, I don't see you wearing our stuff because I have a rule. I only rep HBCU gear on the show that I've been to.
Understood. And so we are going to make a change in that. We are maroon and gray all the way, and we will make sure that Roland will come back on the air.
That's the Aggie colors.
And have, that's not the Aggie colors, that's our colors. We're 1886.
Oh, come on.
September 13, 1886.
What are we, like 1860, something like that?
You bet.
I got maroon in there. I got Claflin in there.
Roland, we're going to make sure that we get you all hawked out, all right?
Yes, because I know she probably walked in. She's like, I got all this HBCU stuff.
She did. She did.
You saw all this. She's like, hold up, I don't
Roland,
see. She's like, how I see all this stuff? I don't see my school.
We're gonna make sure that we get you repped out, okay?
All right, sounds great. And I can't believe when you were naming all those programs, know how much I love golf. You didn't say nothing about the PGA.
Well, we have the only certified PGA program of any HBCU in the country. We have an outstanding hospitality tourism management
that's a Professional
program.
Golfers Association.
Yes. And we have a number of other programs. Our criminal justice program is one of the tops. Our students they are majoring in digital media. That should ring a bell here for you. So we have a number of programs. I could go on and just talk about just that.
I can come down there and
Scott Bolden's going to write you a $2 million check after this. School.
No, Scott cheat.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott cheat.
That took Scott
and his firm.
Scott,
I can see it all over Scott's face.
I had to pull
it doesn't have to be 2. We'll take some.
Roland, I had to pull his fingernails out to get $200.
Well, let me say
you know what? And I just gave you I just gave you a contribution, Roland, and
When?
you say that. I just gave you.
What about overdone? What about overdone?
I'm pulling it back now.
When? Hold on. When did you give it?
Dr. Anderson, I'm sending you a check.
Thank you. And anybody else, who wants to send us checks.
He running his mouth.
Thank you.
I am doing.
He about to get shimmy. He about to shimmy on you.
What you gotta do, Doc?
He getting receipts. He getting receipts.
You gotta do a check because I'm looking right now. I'm looking right now.
Is he plagiarizing? Is he plagiarizing? Is he misrepresenting?
Don't go there.
Scott, you did not just give me anything.
Okay.
This is April 8th. This is April 8th at 11:37 a.m. So, Scott.
It's on the screen. I just took a picture of the screen.
Scott,
sent it.
Look.
Scott, I got receipts.
Them Kappas. Be them Kappas, Roland.
Scott, I got receipts. And you wrote FYI. Now get off me.
Madam President, I'm sending you a check.
But Scott, we would take your check.
Yes,
We're happy to take your check.
Right.
Don't tell Morehouse. Don't tell Morehouse.
But you guys send him some reminders, Doc.
Look,
send him some reminders.
It would help our students. Every little bit helps.
I agree, but you gotta stay on them.
We need a Reed Smith.
That's what I do.
We will do
That's what I do.
We need a Scott
We appreciate it. Keep us abreast of what happens. I look forward to coming to campus.
Thank you so much. We look forward to having you.
All right, and
very soon.
And then I'll bring my clubs too, because everybody know how I feel.
You know I play.
Baby, I got a putt green right there.
Look.
You don't understand. I ain't out.
I play too.
Okay, what's your handicap?
It's just got intense. Let me
there.
step back.
I just want to know what the handicap was.
Step back.
Mine's 6.6, so we can play. Let's go.
Whoa, I'm not touching that.
Let's go.
I'm going to stay in the office.
No, you got to get out there and hit them. I got to see what your game look like. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Roland.
Folks, quick break. We come back. Attorney Ben Crump. We're going to talk about the Sonya Massey trial taking place right now, where the white cop who shot and killed her took the stand today, saying he was in fear of his life. This is after his partner testified that he wasn't in fear. That's next. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Josh Cole became a pastor and delegate to serve his community. That's why Josh is fighting to lower costs for families hurting from inflation and make sure we can all afford quality health care. But Sean Steinway has embraced his MAGA backers who support Trump's mass firing of federal workers and the MAGA plan to ban abortion with no exceptions. We deserve better than Sean Steinway.
I'm Josh Cole, candidate for delegate, and I sponsored this ad.
In the military, I gave orders, and they went a lot further than they do around here. If there's one thing I've learned as a mom and foster parent of more kids than I can count, investing in their future isn't a choice. In Richmond, I'll fight for Stafford's fair share for our schools. Smaller class sizes, better teacher pay, and more vocational training.
I'm Stacey Carroll, and I'll fight to get our kids' future in order.
Nicole Cole knows the cornerstone of a successful life starts here. Virginia Public Schools gave Nicole an excellent education. They helped her become a small business owner, family financial planner, mother, and community leader. Now, after 4 years on the Spotsylvania School Board, Nicole is running for delegate to meet the needs of all students. As our delegate, Nicole will fully fund our schools, raise teacher salaries, and help graduating students stay in our communities. Nicole Cole for delegate. For us, for our future.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say. and they don't ultimately win.
This week on the other side of change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started using our language against us, right? Remember when we were all woke and the woke movement and all that kind of stuff? Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Melanie Campbell, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and Black Women's Roundtable. And we are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered all day, every day, 24/7. Spread the word.
Now y'all know Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett never holds back, and she lit into Donald Trump over the immigration raids. She called it exactly what it is. Roll it.
Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas.
Thank you so much, Madam Ranker, and thank you so much to our witnesses for being here today. You know, I've sat and I've listened, and what my colleague, Mr. Krishnamurthy, just talked about was just blatant racism. Like, I'm gonna just call a thing a thing. Like, this administration is racist. That he has always been a racist, and that is what we are enduring in this country. Let me give you some facts behind this racism, and they get mad when I say the things that I say, but I will not stop speaking the truth. Number one, I said that what we were experiencing in this country felt like what I would imagine slave patrols to look like. And frankly, anybody that knows anything about slave patrols, this is exactly what it was like. We're talking about lawless people that are going around with no warrants or anything, and it's all about rounding people up and disappearing them. That is what's currently taking place. And interestingly enough, even though modern day policing was born out of slave patrols, when I was speaking with one of my friends who is a federal law enforcement officer, he told me that one of the things that he has observed is that the culture is created at the top. And when I think about it, it absolutely makes sense. If you have somebody at the top that will not tolerate the types of things that we're seeing, then maybe those under you won't do it. But we know that we have a racist at the top. He has called himself the head law enforcement agent in this country, and therefore everybody has decided that it is okay to take off their hoods and mask up as ICE agents. Now, we've talked about how they have hidden themselves, but again, it reminds me of the Klan. That is why I proposed the Clear ID Act, to make them identify themselves, because it is dangerous for law enforcement as well as individuals, because you don't know, especially with ICE going around and doing the things that thugs do. They're busting out windows, they're breaking into homes, they're breaking people's arms. This doesn't sound like law enforcement, it sounds like thuggery to me. But just like you can have somebody at the top that sets the tone for ugliness going down, you guys are blessed, because in the city of Chicago, you have a mayor. You have a mayor that has decided that he will not back down. He will not bend to this administration. And instead, he will stand up for the people. You have a man of valor that is going up against a villain. And I think that we have to make sure, especially while we're in his city, that we recognize his leadership, because it is invaluable. Now, some people think that this is all about Chicago. But I want people to understand that this cancer is infecting us everywhere. And if you don't think that it can come to your city, well, I've got news for you. You see, we've been talking about the cruel and unusual punishment that is in violation of the 8th Amendment that is being handed out. And honestly, it's a spit in the face of every American that we have an actual convicted felon that feels aggrieved to the extent that he feels like he's owed hundreds of millions of dollars when people are literally dying under our watch. Recently, I just sent a letter, it looks like on October 22nd, to Kristi Noem. And one of the things that I laid out is that we have seen the most detainee deaths in ICE custody in a single year in decades, with 20 deaths in the last 9 months compared to 24 deaths in the prior 4 years. Now, this week, we learned that an individual who went to the Dallas ICE field office for a routine visit, meaning that they were doing things the quote unquote right way, they were detained. They knew that this individual had diabetes and required insulin every 2 hours. Despite ICE having been told this, the individual was denied access to their medication for 8 days, resulting in hospitalization. There are some that say that we are making America great. But to me, it doesn't feel like greatness. It feels like grossness. That's right. And in fact, I want to ask a few questions, and it doesn't matter who answers them. Is it great or gross to go into people's houses and drag them out in the middle of the night?
Gross.
Is it great or gross to make people afraid to do something as simple as go to school?
Gross.
Is it great or gross to make hard-working people say, I am too scared to show up to my job?
Gross. Extremely gross.
Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your courage. Thank you so much for showing up. And Ms. O, I want to tell you that I understand that your mother is being detained in El Paso. I did go and visit that facility. I want you to know that I am always on my job.
All right, then. Speaking truth wherever she can. Folks, let's turn to Illinois, where the trial of the cop who shot and killed Sonya Massey is going on. The sixth day of the trial, former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson took the stand to explain to the jury why he said he feared for his life on July 6, 2024, the night he shot and killed Sonya Massey when she was standing at a stove with a pot of water. Grayson said he fired his weapon when he saw Massey throw the pot at him. Okay. He literally says she threw the pot at him. We have the video, y'all. The jury already heard from his partner, Deputy Dawson Fraley, who said that he was confused and not threatened when Massey said, I rebuke in the name of Jesus. He also told the jury he did not, quote, see or hear anything that would have prompted Grayson to draw his service weapon. Now, y'all, roll the video, keep going, move fast forward to when she's at the stove. So we're joined right now by Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump, who represents the Massey family. Ben, he actually testified that she threw the pot at him?
Yes.
Wait,
he did.
Roll a video. Y'all, you see right here, this is Grayson. This is Massey. She's at the stove. Turn the audio up.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the fucking pot! Drop the fucking pot!
It's sickening to watch that. He straight lied on the stand. Did he not think that prosecutors not gonna show the video? Man, I don't, what the hell? That every time we can play that video, it's sickening to watch. That woman did not throw the pot.
Yeah, Roland Martin, it is troubling every time I see that video, how unnecessary, how unjustifiable, and just how callous him shooting this unarmed black woman who did not commit a crime. She called them Roland Martin because she was having a mental health crisis. And so why is it far too often, and thank God for you, Roland Martin, for covering all these instances where black people with mental health issues
end up dead at the hands of law enforcement, and then they try to all say, oh, I was in fear of my life. I mean, it's not right, and I pray tomorrow, since they're having closing arguments, that the jury that is comprised of 11 white people and 1 black man will hold this, I don't even want to call him a law enforcement officer, hold this coward accountable for murder of this black woman.
I mean, his former officer, his former partner testified. The guy standing right next to him. So for you to sit here and claim, oh my God, because we all know, if you're a cop, the best way for you to get off is to go, oh, I fear for my life. But there's video here. We see the distance between, and he actually thinks that we gonna fall for the okie doke that she had a pot, you got a gun, and that pot, if it was actually thrown, was somehow going to take your life. A pot.
You know, Roland, when you watch the video, it's very important that people analyze the video. When she says, I rebuke you in the name...
Freeze it right here. Freeze it right here. Freeze the video. Yeah. Look at you got a big-ass counter with stuff on top of it separating her and him.
Hey, you know, Roland Martin, you're so sharp when it comes to matters like this. Because notice, Roland, if he's in fear of his life, he steps around the counter, which is a barrier, and takes a step towards her before he does what he said he was going to do.
Freeze it right here. Freeze. First of all, guys, don't advance.
In her effing face.
Now, here's what's crazy. Roll it back. Roll it back. Okay, I need y'all to understand. He pulls his gun out. All right? He pulls his gun out. Okay, roll it. Roll it. Stop right here. Now the gun's out. Now watch what happens. Roll it.
Drop the fucking pot.
Freeze it. Freeze it. Keep playing it. Freeze it. Freeze. That's right. So he comes. He pulls the gun out. She falls to the floor. No. Stay on the video. Roll it back. He pulls the gun out. She falls to the floor. He steps around the counter to get a clean shot at her. Because he doesn't have a clean shot. Freeze it right here. He doesn't have a clean shot right here. But he feared for his life.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And Ben, this is the issue, and you've had to deal with some of these cases. These cops, they know when they talking to jurors, mostly white people, all they gotta say is, I fear for my life. And too many white jurors said, get a jail-free card.
Yeah. And Roland, I don't take it for granted at all, even though his partner said, and I want to applaud his partner who said, I did not feel fear. I don't think she was threatening in any kind of way. He said, in fact, Roland Martin, he felt fear from Grayson in his actions. And so his partner testifies it out on the witness stand. With that being said, let's don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to convict him, but we want to believe that they are going to not let him get off. The question is there going to be a holdout? Because we know these conservative MAGA people, they don't think there's anything that a police officer can do to be found guilty of killing a black person. And so I think that's going to be the fight.
And this is, for folks who don't know, this is a state trial, not a federal trial, correct?
It is. And we applaud Governor Pritzker. Not only did we get the largest amount for a black woman being killed in the state of Illinois in a wrongful death, but they passed the Sonya Massey Act that said you have an obligation to tell prospective employers that you have these allegations of excessive force. Now, the employer could still hire you, but at least they can't say, we didn't know about the history of this officer before we hired him. And so that's two. We got civil justice, we got legislative change, and the only thing that remains is, can we get a criminal conviction to make sure that the death of Sonya Massey, this innocent, beautiful black woman, will not go unaccounted for.
Ben, while we also have you here, can you share any light, the Breonna Taylor case? I saw this today, where there's been a settlement with the neighbors of Breonna Taylor. We forget that the neighbors are impacted. This was a post, Mothers Against Police Brutality. Some bullets aimed at Breonna Taylor ripped through the wall into the apartment where her neighbors, including a pregnant woman and child, slept. The settlement can't undo the trauma or restore their sense of safety in their home. Real accountability for that night is still missing. So even though people thought that was over, that settlement was announced today.
Yeah, and thank God people continue to fight. And thank you, Roland. After everybody forgets and moves on, people's lives are still impacted. And so I know the lawyers who were working on that case, thank God that they kept fighting. There was a major motion to dismiss that the judge denied. And I believe once that was denied, then the city said, we must do the right thing. And that was the same situation, Roland, that they had with Kenny Walker, Breonna's boyfriend, before they settled that. They want to see if a judge will give them a free pass card to kill a black person or to harass a black person. And if the judges don't do it, then they will normally try to resolve the case. But that's why elections matter so much, because many of these Trump federal judges now are dismissing the civil rights cases.
And that was Chelsea Napper and Cody Etherton. It was their particular apartment. Ben, do you have any update on the Trey Reed case?
We're waiting for the final autopsy reports to come back. And as soon as it does, Roland, you'll be one of the first people I call, as we often talk about these matters, even when you're not on air. We still are wanting to know for certain. And I think we owe that to Trey Reed to make sure we have all of the scientific, biological, and medical evidence concluded before we make a statement.
All right, then. Well, we hate the fact that we've had to do way too many of these interviews, talking to way too many of these families. But unfortunately, as we know, mainstream media does not pay any attention to a lot of these cases unless it blows up. And I've had people tell me, Roland, you shouldn't show these videos. But I'm going to say this again for the people who say that. Y'all need to understand that the families who lost people, they actually appreciate that we cover these stories. So we don't want to have to show these videos, but if we don't keep it out there, then too many of these cases will never get any attention because of mainstream media's decision. And Ben, you know that too well.
Don't I know it, brother? And that's why we love you, Roland, and that's why we need the Black Star Network, brother, now more than ever.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ben. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. God bless.
Scott, I'm gonna go to you, lawyer. I mean, you gotta think you a damn good liar to go on the stand and say Sonya Massey threw the pot at me when in the video it does not happen.
Yeah, and the real and the partner who drew their gun too, you could tell his partner drew his gun, but she was out of the picture, and she drew her gun because she didn't really know why he drew his gun. But she didn't want to get caught without her gun being drawn like something had happened.
Right, so his reaction was really to him like, what the hell, you got your gun? Was okay, what we doing?
Exactly. And so, as a former homicide prosecutor from New York City, when you're in those situations, and I've been in them a couple times, not in the home, but outside where they've drawn their guns because they're trying to make an arrest. If one pulls their gun, the other ones will too. But in this case, man, she ducks down, Roland, because he pulled his gun. And then he says, put the pot down. She puts the pop up near her face like, this pot right here? Now the other thing that's missing from the video that you know I'm a big advocate for this is mental health services in our police departments like Detroit has, where if you get a mental health call, there's a mental health trained police officer that goes to the scene with the frontline police officers. It's one of the few programs in the country. There may be more, but I know about the Detroit one because I've been reading about it and stuff that could have avoided this. But if you had let me ask Ben a question, I'll ask you this question. It's easy to say that these are racist white cops. Got it, right? But are you ever amazed, when I break down these videos over the last 8 years with you, I'm amazed at the level of incompetence of people we give guns and badges to. Like, does incompetence come before the racism, or incompetence comes with the racism? Because they're both racist and incompetent. And people are losing their lives because of both. It just makes no sense whatsoever. Maybe it's both. What do you think?
No, it's very simple. There are thugs with badges and guns. There are cops. There are cops, white and some black, who have no business being on a police force. And this guy
having a gun or a badge.
This guy had issues at his previous one. And listen, the cop who killed Tamir Rice got a job at another law enforcement agency. These folks, this is why there should be a federal database. These folks should never, ever be allowed to have a gun and a badge again. On the Congo, as simple as that, because they are going to continue this nonsense again and again.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't even look at it as incompetence, to be honest, because if it was incompetence, this would be happening with white people who get pulled over or who get the police called on them. It doesn't happen. And so I feel like it is the racism, and it's part of the training to see us as dehumanized. We know across the country, several of these law enforcement agencies, we're not just using black silhouettes for target practice, but actually images of black people as target practice. So they don't see us as human. And that's one of the problems here. And so when I look at this video, when I look at this story, it's amazing, as Ben Crump said, that we still don't know if he's going to be found guilty. And that speaks to the larger problem of our humanity in this society. I don't know any of these stories, any of these cases where we've actually seen the other cop or the other cops on the scene disagree with the cop who did the act. I mean, usually they want to get their story straight, or somebody want to appear in the light. The other officer is saying, I did not see himself as a threat, and he lied. We got the video rolling, and we still don't know what's going to happen. That's another example of the sorry state that we're in as it relates to police relations with black people in this country, and it's 2025. And I'm glad that Pritzker has that rule about, you have to talk about what happened to you in the past if you go for other jobs, because we need a national database on that. The Biden administration was interested in doing that. We know Trump got rid of all of that. And so really, at the end of the day, I'm glad Crump's on the case, but we have to continue to follow this, man, because this is about our humanity. And whether people want to see the videos or not, this is happening in our communities, and somebody's got to speak on it because no one else is out there.
Yeah, we have to confront and deal with the reality of this, Joy, and got to call the hypocrisy. And all these cops, they know, fear for my life, get out of jail free. And these jurors, they will give law enforcement the benefit of the doubt over and over and over.
Over and over again. And I would just like to say, ain't I a woman? Can you imagine that you've sought out help and a man comes to your door and tells you that he's going to blow your fucking face off? That's what he said to her in that video. That, to me, just started the shock and awe and the assault on her, the verbal assault on her. And then she pulls up, when I saw her grab, it was almost to protect herself. He pulled his gun on her, and she immediately went to shield herself, both in the pot and also ducking down. This woman was not a threat. And, the only thing I could imagine here, like Attorney Crump said, like others have said, we don't know what's going to happen. We can only imagine that but for jury nullification, they would have to find this man guilty. But that could actually happen. It's what's so shocking here.
And we've seen it before. We've seen it before. I gotta ask y'all this here real quick. Scott had to leave. I definitely want to get his thoughts on this. But have y'all seen all these right wingers? So yesterday, Zohran Mamdani had a massive rally in New York City with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as well as Senator Bernie Sanders. They had somewhat 15,000 people feel the state. Guys, come on, switch. Come on, switch. Thank you. Okay, so look at this. Bill Ackman, and a whole bunch of other right-wingers, they posted this. Does this crowd look like a representative sample of New Yorkers? So they've been, I'm like, all these folks have been posting this nonsense. And so check this one out. This is the one that I also think is funny. Winsome Sears.
It's hard to hear you.
Guys, I'm okay. Joy, can you hear us?
Oh, yes, I can. I'm sorry.
All right, so you were talking, so I thought you couldn't hear us. All right. So, all right, y'all, so watch this here. So then the same right-wingers have been mad because Obama is coming to Virginia to campaign with Abigail Spanberger is running for governor, and they've been posting, first of all, this little silly Negro. Obama lectured black men on the exact qualities they should demand in a leader to vote for Kamala. Yet Winsome Sears is practically the walking embodiment of every single one. No, that's a lie. Because when you look at her policies, fool, that's what Obama was talking about. But I've seen so many of these people post, and I just find it to be laughable that Congo, all of a sudden, the right-wingers want DEI. Now they're like, well, look at the crowd. That doesn't look like New York. And then these right-wingers have been going crazy. Where I think even Bill O'Reilly, where were the black people at the No Kings? Oh, so now all of a sudden y'all want black folks to show up? It is amazing to me how they hate DEI. You shouldn't be bringing up race. It's all merit. It's a colorless society. But now y'all want to trash, why is the NAACP? Because Spanberger spoke to the NAACP. Did Winsome Sears go? No. It's like the NAACP is endorsing Spanberger. No, they're not. So they all, here's a perfect example. Hold on, let's see here. Let's see who this little silly, simple Simon Negro is. Listen.
I'm going to try to be serious for a minute. If you all haven't heard by now, the NAACP has endorsed Abigail Spanberger to run against Winsome Earl Sears for governor of Virginia. Nothing screams progress for people of color like watching the same crowd that preaches representation matters suddenly go full Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles when the representation has an R next to her name. Funny how that shit works, huh? Winsome Earl Sears, black, female, immigrant, Marine, success story, but nah, it doesn't fit the approved narrative. Apparently she's the wrong kind of black, because we all know being a strong, independent, educated, conservative woman means you've been brainwashed by the patriarchy, right? And the same people who quote Malcolm X like it's scripture conveniently ignore the part where he said that there's nothing more dangerous to a black man than the white liberal. But they're out here acting like Spanberger is the second coming of MLK just because she checks the right political box. I guess diversity only counts when it votes blue. And representation only matters when it agrees with your Twitter feed. The same people screaming black women deserve a seat at the table are suddenly flipping the fucking table.
All right, so I don't really listen to that stupid-ass idiot because, first of all, he's a liar, okay? Abigail Spanberger spoke at the Virginia NAACP convention. She was not endorsed, you dumbass. And all these right-wingers, they're running their mouths. And then it's kind of like, well, why they not supporting Winsome Sears? How about they disagree with her agenda? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
See, I love these idiots who now all of a sudden, so this dumbass right here, show his face again, this simple Simon-ass Negro, okay, I call the help, as well as all these little white MAGA people. I understand why NWP, why y'all not endorsing Winsome Sears. How about because her agenda screws black people?
Yeah, yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
It really sucks that he also looks like Method Man. Because something else.
No, he don't look like Method Man.
Method Man.
I know Method Man. He looked like a broke ass. Wish he could be Method Man, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I broke out laughing when you put out that first tweet by Toffer or whoever about Winsome Sears. I mean, these guys are so hilarious, and they're weak. It just shows how weak they are because they can't take any critiques that are thrown at them. Whenever somebody says something like Trump's a dictator, they'll have all of these segments. Oh my gosh, how can you say that? You're responsible for all the political violence. This is what the left does, and so on and so forth. And now you see that a black female candidate is not being endorsed by Democrats and black people in general, and now you want to talk about there should be DEI. Then you want to talk about Zohran Mamdani's rally, but you don't want to talk about any of your Trump rallies that never look like all of America. You don't want to talk about Trump's cabinet that doesn't look like America, and the man's not even in America right now. Where's his ringing endorsement for her? You know, he could put out some statements and things, but the Republican Party hasn't even seriously gotten behind her. So what are they talking about? The responses are hilarious, but it's really striking in how it just highlights their hypocrisy at every single level. So I'm really glad you showed these videos, man, because I know it's sad, but I kind of needed a laugh tonight to end it.
But Jordan, they act like black folks can't read. We know what her crazy ass has said. They're not supporting her agenda. We know. Listen. There are black. Listen, I pulled up earlier. That was a white guy named George Voinovich, who was a white Republican. George Voinovich got a significant number of black votes when he ran for the mayor of Cleveland. Do you know why? He met with black people. He talked with black people. The items that black people cared about was part of his agenda. When George Voinovich ran for governor of Ohio, he got a lot of black votes because he sat down with black people, he listened to black people, he talked with black people, he advanced agenda items they cared about. When George Voinovich ran for the United States Senate, what happened? He got lots of black votes. If black people ain't voting for a black Republican, it could be we don't like their anti-black agenda.
Correct. And I'm willing to bet the Virginia State NAACP invited Winsome Sears, and she chose not to come. She's deciding that she doesn't care about these voters. Her real problem, though, is not just black people. Her real problem is that it's all of the federal workers who are in Virginia who she said she doesn't really care about what Donald Trump is doing to them. Matter of fact, she said it was sort of an insignificant issue. The federal government is the largest employer in the state of Virginia. So to not, and not just in the DC area, I mean, all the way down to Norfolk and other areas. So like the idea that she did not understand that this was a central issue that was going to pit her against the president and that she needed to have an answer was political malpractice. Moreover, where are the Republicans? Donald Trump could easily go to Virginia. He's all the way in Asia. He couldn't have crossed the river to go to Virginia to do an event for her that would be meaningful, right? To say her name repeatedly. Many times he has forgotten to mention her name. Many times he has failed to put the full weight of the MAGA movement behind this black woman. So they don't need to worry about who black people are voting for. They need to worry about who the Republican voters of Virginia are really going to support. They don't even seem to be that interested.
Well, first of all, Winsome need to go ahead and get her ass a new website because I've been trying to click on winsomeforgovernor.com and it's not even going through. I'm tapping on it and I've been trying for the past several minutes. And so, baby, maybe you need to go hire your black tech company to figure out your damn website. Man, you got website issues. You got all kind of issues over there. So
you got funding issues.
It's just hilarious how all of a sudden, and hold on, let me find that clip. Cause it was so, all these votes. I mean, look at these, the no kids. Where were the black people? Where were the black people? And everybody, so all of a sudden, now y'all want black people. How about y'all let white folks go do what they do and we go do some other stuff?
Like, I mean, that just trips me out. I mean, all these folks were just you seen did black people take off? We don't have to always listen. We do stuff when we feel like it. But man, these folks were sitting here and again, I just love these people who always got something to say that's anti-DEI, but then all of a sudden, y'all want to ask, where are the black people? Whatever. We had other stuff to do. You had HBCU homecomings, we had conferences, and you know what, some of us went and played golf. So it's like, man, go do what y'all do. But stop sitting here, always, again, when y'all want to criticize, then y'all want to sit here and ask where the black people, but then y'all want to hate DEI. We know damn well the GOP is all about DEI. Hell, they all excited because Barry Wise was named editor-in-chief at CBS Evening News, at CBS, a woman who ain't never worked in TV. Oh, so y'all don't mind an unqualified white woman taking a job who ain't never worked in the business, but y'all don't say nothing about that, huh?
That's right.
Ain't that something? It's amazing how
like DEI.
It's amazing how they love trying to trash DEI, talking about didn't earn it, but when y'all silly asses are promoting folks, then you don't want to say anything. So I don't really care what y'all got to say. I don't really care what y'all got to say. I really don't. I don't give a damn. But tell you what you're gonna do. I hope y'all see a whole bunch of black people go to the polls in Virginia and not vote for Winsome Sears. And I hope that absolutely happens. And here's the other deal: if Winsome Sears want to talk to black people, she can come on this show. Oh, I'm sorry, we've never heard from her campaign.
Please let me be on. Please let me be on that.
We've never heard from her campaign. I'm just, matter of fact, Carol, just go ahead and call Winsome campaign. Let's see if they want to come talk to the black. I'm sorry, I'm gonna use their phrase. See if they want to come talk to the blacks. Y'all, come on. Y'all, come on. Come talk to the blacks. That's Donald Trump. I'm gonna go see the blacks. Like that's the movie.
Say, I am speaking.
Like that's the movie Meet the Blacks. Come on, Winsome, come meet the blacks. Winsome Sears. That's right. Come on over here, Winsome, and meet the blacks. Please, by all means, come and meet the blacks. All right, y'all, that's it for us. I'm going to be...
Roland, I think you got your new tagline for a shirt.
Come meet the blacks.
Join Roland Martin when we come meet the blacks.
Yeah, come meet the blacks. We'll do that, but that ain't gonna never ever happen. All right, let me thank Ome Congo, Joy, Scott being on today's show. Y'all, tomorrow I'll be broadcasting live from Houston. We'll be gonna be in H-Town for the next 3 days for Afrotech. We'll be broadcasting from there. Looking forward to that. We're gonna be chatting with Dr. Gerald Horn tomorrow. So these white conservatives crack me up. They have been losing their minds on social media the last 72 hours over some comments made by Zoran Mamdani's father about Hitler studying America Jim Crow. And they are mad. I mean, I'm talking about big mad. I'm talking about that racist Matt Walsh. I mean, he's been posting all sorts of videos, just mad, just all in his feelings. He got a new one. Zoran Mamdani owes America a thank you. Instead, all he does is whine and insult us, ungrateful, egotistical, useless brat. And you are a plaid shirt wearing, incompetent, ingrate idiot who doesn't even know anything about American history. Because literally everything Mamdani's father said is actually factually correct. But see, white conservatives hate it when you actually state factual things about America's sordid history. So we're going to get into that tomorrow. Also, we're going to talk tomorrow about, now you got a new group of Democrats, y'all. New group of Democrats now calling themselves centrists and laying out the path forward for how Democrats can win future elections, saying they went too far left and they focus on identity politics and things along those lines. Sounds very much like the DLC from the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, I got to get into that as well. And I'm trying to find out from them people, how many black people were part of their conversation? Can't wait to have them on the show as well. All right, y'all. That's it for us. If you want to support the work that we do, join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 folks contributing on average $50 each a year. The goal is to raise $1 million between now and the end of the year to fund our new shows going to 2026. Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here in the bottom left-hand corner. That's also use Stripe, same QR code. For credit cards, PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks in money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196. Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. Be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Folks, if you want to get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of the Americas, Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. Get it online. Also, get the audio version I read on Audible. Also, folks, if you want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered Black Star Network swag, just go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. You get all of our t-shirts, all of our good stuff, and so check that out. And also, you want to support these black-owned products that are to my left right here. Backpacks, car cleaning solution, facial equipment. We got relishes, toilet paper, chips, gym wraps. We got crossword puzzles, all that good stuff. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, shopblackstarnetwork.com for these products. And be sure to get the app Fanbase, y'all. Get the app Fanbase. Download the app, and as well, if you want to invest, you can go to startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. And shout out to West Virginia State University. When I spoke in Charleston for Juneteenth, the president of the university gave me this sweatshirt. Come on, Anthony, come on. Okay, wake up. The president of the university gave me some gear, so I'm rocking this black and gold. See, they got smart colors, so they're the yellow jackets. So shout out to West Virginia State University, and look forward to being on campus soon. All right, again, I'll see y'all tomorrow from Houston, H-Town, my hometown, right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla!